It can start with a slip or a fall, playing a basketball game with your kids, you know, that lower back pain, but sometimes you really don't know what triggered it.
That's right, and sometimes it might not be your lower back that's causing the problem, but instead it could be in your neck. Hold on for that explanation, all right?
I know, from the Spinal Balance Health Center, Dr. Drew Drummond, and one of his patients, Dennis Milroy, and we'll get to the connection between our lower back and neck in a minute with you, Dr. Drummond. But first, Dennis, how long, tell us about your back pain. How long had you been suffering?
Well, it was an ongoing thing. You know, working construction, you do this stuff to yourself and you don't realize just how bad you're doing it until you can't sleep at night or you're in pain. You can't work during the day, you can't tie your shoes. My wife kept telling me, you're not sleeping at night, you need to do something.
Yeah, I was going to say, I would imagine if you're like me, you kind of let it go for a while until you finally had to take some sort of action.
The manly thing, yeah, you don't have to do anything. It's okay. It'll get better by itself. It didn't work.
That didn't work out for you.
Not at all.
You tried some other things before you went to see Dr. Drummond?
Well, I went to my family doctor,
Yeah.
and I got some pain pills, and he said, you can use these at night. Don't use them during the day. You're going to hurt yourself in addition to what you're already hurting. And that worked for a little while, and I could sleep at night for a little while, and eventually got to the point where I needed to do something, and I had considered surgery, and I just didn't like the idea of having somebody cutting my back open. So we had met Dr. Drummond in a different setting, and he said, well, give it a try if you ever feel like you can't stand the pain anymore.
You built his house.
Yes, I did.
I'll put it out there. Yeah, that's how you met, was
Yep.
through construction. He
It
needed
was.
a home, and you had the skills to build it.
Yep.
So then what happened once you saw him after that first visit? How long until you experienced relief?
Okay, when he says this is an aberration, but you sit down and you watch a video in his office, and it tells you that this is a process, not an event. For me, it was an event. Honestly, when I walked out of there, I felt like a new person. I felt 100% cured, even though I knew, and he told me I needed repeated visits to get myself over the curve, and I've felt good ever since.
Well, glad you're doing well. Dr. Drummond,
Yeah.
his was lower back pain, correct?
Yeah.
Tell us about your NUCCA, because that kind of deals with the upper spine.
Yeah, NUCCA is a correction of the upper cervical spine, and the way the nervous system works, you know, it controls the entire body. I think there's even a video that they'll show
yeah,
here,
we
but
were
there's
just looking at that.
there's nerve impulses from the brain that travel right down through the upper cervical area out to the body and then back up through the brainstem, and this is what controls all functions of the body. And we've had other patients in here before talking about headaches, blackouts, fibromyalgia, things like that that are caused by the upper cervical problem. But in addition to those issues, they all had neck pain and back pain. It's a very, very common problem with the upper cervical subluxation because it starts interfering with the nerve impulses that are going out to the back muscles and really controlling a person's posture. So you end up with one side of your back that's tighter than the other side, and it will throw the whole body out of alignment. And one of the key places that hurts then is the low back, but also the neck, the shoulders, the hips, the knees. Any major joint can be affected.
Some people might be concerned, is it painful? How do these treatments and adjustments work?
No, it's really painless. It's a very light touch behind the ear. Dennis, did it hurt?
Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
No.
Was
No,
it so
it's-
gentle that you were questioning whether it could be effective even? I'm
Until
wondering.
you stand up and you
Yeah.
feel better.
Yeah. Does everybody experience an immediate difference with him?
You know, I've got a lot of stories that are just like Dennis's, where they get up off the table and they feel like they're a new person. But in reality, that isn't everybody, and I'd love to be able to claim that it is, but it's not. Really, I'm not treating the back symptom as much as I am the posture. And once we straighten the posture up, some people will improve very, very rapidly, and for other people it's a process. I've had people that have sciatica that comes from the low back pain causing pain down the leg, and they've been surgical candidates where surgeons had dates set for them, and when I started working on them it wasn't immediate, but instead is, you know, a month or two process for them to get better. So it varies for
Yeah,
person
you
to
really got to
person.
say to yourself, I'll try anything before, you know, they start cutting in on your back.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's so how do you know if it doesn't work for everybody, you said, but how do you know if you're a good candidate for
Well,
your
yeah,
NUCCA?
most people with low back pain, it is some kind of an upper cervical problem from my experience. But to know for sure, I really need to look at their posture because it'll show that the hips are uneven, the shoulders are uneven. They'll have what's called a short leg syndrome, and that's caused by this imbalance in the back muscles being too tight on one side of the back and not the other. Yeah.
I'm curious, Dennis, what does your wife think now that you're doing better after encouraging you for so long to get help?
She thanks Dr. Drummond because I don't snore as much, and that was a big thing for her.
Really? That's
I
something
always
else
said
that changed.
I always said I never snored, but she says I
She's
did.
just happy you built that house, right? Otherwise, you may not have met Dr. Drummond.
That's right.
But you're doing better now, and some of the activities. I'm curious about what you were missing out on before with that low back pain that you're now able to enjoy.
Well, it comes down to the point where I was having to tell my employees what to do instead of actually physically doing things. And as you might know, that's not beneficial for me. I needed to be involved. And this really, 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 truly made a huge difference to my life.
Helped you not only physically, but helped you in your business life. And financially as
Absolutely.
well, yeah.
All right, Dr. Drummond, you've brought with you another special offer today.
Absolutely.
As you do with each of your visits. If you're interested in learning about NUCCA care, if you'd like to see, perhaps if you're a candidate, the first 30 people to call Dr. Drummond's office receive a consultation exam and x-rays for $50. Yes, the x-rays are included, and yes, it's only $50. I feel like we need to sort of reiterate that because it's unbelievable at the value. The phone number is 452-3400, 452-3400. There's the website and the email address, but if you'd like to get in on that offer today, you'll need to act quickly. Again, only 13 people are eligible. Congratulations, Dennis. Well done. I love to see guys, you know, smiling and feeling good. Thank you,
nice.
Dr. Drummond.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
Thanks for coming in.
Good to see you both.
Thank you.
Well, have you visit us online? It's a simple way to...